The principles that I work with are very simple. We have sensation, relationship, time, and design. Those four elements break down into yourself, your small community of relationship, your bigger community, and then the effect of your community on the environment. Self, other, community, and nature. Self, moving, that's sensation. Relationship, nonverbal communication with another person, that's relationship. And the way, and your awareness of the rest of the community, and how do you change your orientation of communication to the other people in that community is what I refer to as time. And then time and relationship and sensation, if you're paying attention to all those three things, then you will be having an effect on the community, and you will be creating a sense of design based on considering those three elements. And those are the same principles that I would teach any group of people, irregardless of their ability. I will teach those same principles, that same methodology to professional dancers, as well as people who can understand cognitive thinking, or people who don't have any language skills whatsoever. There's a real developmental process to the teaching of the material. And there are different levels of the work. So that there's an entrance level for any person who wants to come, and then there's an exit level for determining how is it that any individual wants to continue. So, for example, a beginning workshop is for all people. You can decide, oh, I want to come because I just want to move. Or you can come just because I want to move with people who move differently than I move. Or you can come because I never had the opportunity to ever move with other people in a expressive, creative way, that some people's choices of movement have only been functional in their whole life. And the value of expressive movement out of the body as a need for the evolution of society isn't really recognized by individuals or our culture. And so I recognize that we need the diversity of movement as a way of evolving culture and the design of society. So some people come for those reasons. And once they arrive there, maybe they didn't even know that they could dance, and they go, or maybe they do know that maybe they're a professional dancer, and they can say, okay, hey, I want to continue this. So then we grow out of this sort of beginning introductory level into teaching people, oh, how do you now work in a small community within your larger community? So that people begin to collaborate in their working process rather than be teacher-student. But maybe they're not a teacher, but they're involved in the collaboration with their peers, both professional peers or friends or family, whoever comes. So there's a collaborative level of the work that's teaching. Maybe in that collaboration people go, oh, I really love this work, and oh, I'm really good at this. I want to continue as a performer. So then in the teaching, in the orientation of the teacher training and in the material, there's an orientation towards performance, so people can learn not only how to perform, but how to make performances. And to make performances at different levels of performance, because you break down performance also relative to the venue that you work in. So if I'm working in a community center, then I'm doing a certain kind of performing and a certain kind of demonstration, like we did at the end of the event here. If you want to become a higher level of performance so that you can actually take your performance to the theater, we teach that orientation as well, how to become a choreographer. If you want to take your work to the streets and more of an activist level, we teach that also through doing street performance parades and site-specific performances. If people come and say, oh, I'm not interested in performing, I'm interested in teaching. And I'm interested in teaching children, or I'm interested in teaching adults, or many different ways of teaching. We have an orientation of programs as well for teaching people to work in those ways. Oh, maybe you want to be a performer and you want to make educational programming for kids in the schools. We can also educate you in that direction as well. So there's an entrance and several exit levels for each individual to determine what their vocation and what their interest might be for their personal life or for their effect on their community or for and then an effect on greater society. We have programs that go in institutions such as universities and train university dance teachers how to also work with disabled people, and part of their curriculum is that they then have to go out to institutions and work with people with disabilities. You see, it's sort of endless possibilities that we are involved in and have generated over the more than 20 years history and development of this work. The basic orientation is that we see ourselves as the contemporary edge of dance, and that as well with our roots in some of the extremely ancient societal factors that helped us evolve as communities, because we're finding new movement and we're dancing with people of an extremely diverse range of capability of movement. We're defining a new language of movement, and we're defining a new language spoken. And that language is the same languages that evolved societies from the beginning of all time. So continuing in that vein with recognizing the value of new movement language in individual bodies, but also new language in communication, which is needed because the language skills that we have and the language that we use now is really not working for our societies to evolve appropriately. If you look around us, we're still generating societies of isolation. We're still generating islands of people. We're not creating cross-cultural experiences. We're not creating in our own cultures. And I think that the DanceAbility becomes a model of how all people can create equally together, create a democratic model, and just see how it works. And it's not a resolution to all problems, but it is a model to work from so that people with greater minds can see this model and help it grow and it evolve further as well. And eventually in 2009, in the summer of 2009, in July, to do the teacher certification program here someplace so that we can empower many people with the work, and that community, DanceAbility International Finland, can join our global network and be involved in spreading this work in Finland, but also to other countries in this part of the world where it doesn't exist. So the more people we can get trained here, and they can start spreading the work in these areas. So the interest is not only to spread the work of contemporary dance, but also to create job opportunities for more people who do the trainings, because the truth is there isn't enough people still trained in this work. I've trained 300 teachers, but their world needs many, 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 many more teachers to be spreading this work. There are also other teachers that have been certified in this program of DanceAbility here in Finland, which is great because we have Gunelia, we have Paulina, we have and Sally Davison, 3 teachers, which organizes the great foundation of a group of people to continue this work here. And with Gunelia organizing the DanceAbility International Finland, we'll really begin to develop and grow.
Great. Thank you.